Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Baking with Brando. It's kind of cold out, we're halfway through winter it feels like. I don't feel too bad, but I do want to go somewhere warm, so I'm going to make a passionfruit coconut mille-feuille, and hopefully it brings us somewhere a little more tropical instead of this ice. We're going to start by making a modified strudel dough here, so there's no eggs, it's just going to be really basic. It's flour, water, salt, and oil. As you can see, I made a well here, stretched it out a little bit, and I added my water in there. That way I don't have to use a bowl, I'm just kind of cleaning it up on the counter. I'm going to start by mixing it around so you get a paste, and then I got my bench scraper here. We're just going to chop it together until it starts forming a workable dough. And there I am, I'm just going to start kneading it, and this takes a little bit of time, but I do find it's pretty easy if you knead it for about like 5 minutes. Then let it rest for another 5 minutes, go back to it, knead it again. It's kind of like working a multi-autolyse system. But anyways, we're going to pop this in the bowl and we're going to rest it overnight. It'll give our gluten a chance to settle down and make it a little easier to stretch in the morning. So I was taught how to do this by a really cool pastry chef. I'm just going to clean up my counter here. I've got just a regular old sheet that I'm going to use. I'm going to stretch my dough on top of it. And by having it on the sheet, it's going to make it easier for me to pick it up and move it around. It's a very traditional technique to make strudel as far as I know, and I'm just really appreciative that I ever got to learn how to do these things. So anyways, I'm stretching it out here. I'm just going to start putting it on the corner of my table and seeing how far I can stretch it. You see, as I hook it over the corner there, by getting it on the corner, it makes it easier for us to actually start pulling it, because otherwise we're just moving this like disc around on the table. You do want to be kind of gentle because you don't want to get a tear in there, or otherwise it's going to really mess you up. But it's not too bad because it's got really nice gluten and I can read my paper through it. So we're just going to start putting some butter on top here to build our layers. See, I'm working the kitty cat technique there. Then I've got some sugar here because I'm thinking the sugar is going to work as glue, and also this is a dessert channel, so we want sweetness in our dessert. So I'm trimming up these extra bits that aren't going to help me, and I'm just kind of working it in rectangles. And then I'll put a little more butter here, that way we get those layers. The butter's going to help us with the oil in between the flour. It helps build those actual like separate layers, kind of like puff pastry. It goes flour, butter, flour, right? So we're going to get a crispiness out of it because we did that. So I cut some nice circles out with my ring mold here. See that I'm popping them on my Silpat. And I'm going to squish it in between another Silpat and a baking sheet, pop it in the oven, and we're going to bake at 375 for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until they're nice and crispy, or looking golden brown, right? There it is, looks pretty nice to me. Crunch. So we'll cross that off the list, and we're going to move on to our mango sorbet. I don't know, man, I always feel comfortable having like a cold object on my dessert plate. It doesn't feel like a complete plated dessert unless I have an ice cream or a sorbet involved. But they're really easy to make. We combine all ingredients and we bring to a simmer or a boil is what I did there. Then we're just going to pop it in a blender and blend it until it's smooth. So here I am pouring it all over my hand and burning myself. Well done, champ. And then I just blast it in the magic bullet and pour it through a sieve. That way you get any sort of chunky bits out. It's going to give you a nice smooth consistency. And I obviously forgot something in this video, and it was the glucose here. It was not that big a deal though. It does melt into the liquid while it's still warm, so whatever. Mix that up, pop it in the fridge, and rest it overnight because they spin better after. So here we are the next day. We're going to pop this in the Frost Blaster 500 and throw it in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes. See, it only took about 17, I think, truly. I'm going to cross this off the list. We're moving on to the Passionfruit Curd. Curds are really simple to make. We're going to start by getting our wet liquid, which in this case is our passionfruit puree, and our sugar. And then we're going to get our egg yolks and our other half of sugar. And we're going to mix that together. Then we're going to get our passionfruit puree, and we're going to throw it on the burner. And we're just going to bring that up to a simmer. See, I'm adding a little bit of gelatin here because I do want this to stand up nice and tall for our mille-feuille because I don't want it to fall over. That would be really lame. There we are. We're tempering this into our egg yolk mixture, and then we're going to return that to the pot. And I'm just moving around with my little spatula here. We're going to cook this until it comes to a boil. I believe it came to a boil there. We're chucking the butter in now, and the butter is what you add last. And we're just going to mix that till fully combined. Then I'll pass it through a fine mesh strainer, straight into our deli cup, cover it up, and get that in the fridge because we're moving on to our next steps now. So we'll cross this off, and the next recipe we're moving on to is the coconut cardamom whipped ganache. So this recipe did mess me up. I had to do it a few times to get it right, but it is pretty easy. We've got our heavy cream, our coconut fat, we've got glucose, and we're putting cardamom pods in the pot here. So we're just going to mix that up. I do like the flavor of cardamom and white chocolate. We'll pour that over top and give it a nice blend, and then we'll have to cool it overnight. So it has cooled now, and it's whipping up really nice. I honestly did not expect this. It got really thick, nice and pipeable. It's gonna work really nice for what we're planning here. And just like that, we're moving on to the next step, and that's a lime meringue crisp. So it's a really easy recipe. It's a Swiss meringue. We're gonna start by getting our egg whites and sugar and some lime juice and mixing it in a bowl. We're gonna cook it over top of bain-marie until it's roughly 74 degrees Celsius, and then we just gotta whip until it's fully cooled. So now that we're nice and cool, I'm just gonna pop this in the bag and get ready to pipe away. Got a basic open tip here. It's gonna give us like a little Hershey's Kiss looking shape. So I'll pipe as many of those as I can out. And then the last little bit of the bag, I'm just gonna squeeze out and flatten with my offset spatula. It's gonna give us something we can break up and make little shapes out of. I don't know if I'll use it, but it's nice to know it's there. And here's some candied lime zest that I powdered, and I'm just dusting it over top. It's gonna give some nice color and flavor. Why not do that? So while these guys are dehydrating, we're gonna move on to the next step, and that's gonna be a piped chocolate garnish. So you see I got the milk chocolate going on here. I'm just gonna chuck in a block of seed chocolate, and we gotta temper it. If you saw the last video I did, it was more or less in depth about doing chocolate tempering and working with it, so go check that out if you haven't. I thought it was fun. And here we are, we've made sure that we're nice and tempered. We're gonna fill up our cornet and get ready to pipe some garnishes. So I've got about 60 to 80 milliliters of chocolate there. It's more than I need for sure, but it's gonna work great for what we're doing here. And I might have overfilled that bag a little bit, as you can see by my finger covered in chocolate, but I don't really care because I'm just gonna wipe it off. It is what it is. And here we are, we're just piping away. It looks like a little butterfly wing, and I was shown this when I was in school. The chef that showed me said he had put it on all kinds of plated desserts, and it does look great on a plate for sure. It probably look great on a cupcake, almost anything that you can stick a chocolate in and say, ta-da! So there it is. They look pretty nice. I'm gonna give them a chance to set. Then we're gonna move on to plating and finishing here. Here it is, the mille-feuille. We're just gonna start building it. And I only showed you one layer because like, I don't wanna do it 3 times in a row, but we've got the Passionfruit Curd. We're gonna put that coconut. We're gonna crisscross and get our pattern. And I got some fresh raspberries because I'm a sucker for raspberries. They're tasty and they look great. Why wouldn't I use it? There we are. We got, that's just a strawberry coulis that I had sitting around. I put it in the freezer for a while and I figured now was a great time to pull it back out. I'm gonna get more of our coconut mousse-like stuff there. And we've got a raspberry, and then we're gonna get our little meringue crisps in. They are white on white, which I kind of like regret a little bit, but it still looks very pretty in my eyes, so it is what it is. If you have any ideas I could have made this dessert a little bit better, feel free to sound off in the comments. I'm way more open to criticism than people think. I'm just trying to get better at what I do here, so it's great to have open criticism on this kind of platform. And if you enjoyed what you saw, feel free to give it a like. It will help the system. I appreciate it. And thanks for watching. It's been a really good time. See you in the next one, hopefully.